The approach to combat and everyday life should be the same. Dokkodo, also known as the Way of Walking Alone, is a set of 21 precepts written by Miyamoto Musashi. Miyamoto Musashi was a legendary Japanese swordsman, philosopher, and author who lived during the 17th century, a time when Japan was in a state of constant turmoil. He was a ronin and a masterless samurai, who spent much of his life traveling the country and engaging in duels with other warriors. Even though he was regarded as one of the finest swordsmen in history, Musashi eventually became weary of violence and sought to find a more tranquil way of living. He composed the Dokkodo during this period, with the intention of using it as a guide for himself and other people who wish to live a fulfilling life. Dokkodo is a guide to living a fulfilling life through self-discipline, mindfulness, and detachment. Each of the precepts offers a unique perspective on how to live a fulfilling life. Number 1. Accept everything just the way it is. Acceptance is a powerful tool for inner peace and contentment. This principle emphasizes the importance of accepting reality for what it is, rather than trying to impose our own expectations onto it. Change doesn't change. Change is the true constant in the world. When we learn to accept everything just the way it is, we let go of our need to control or change external circumstances. Then we avoid unnecessary frustration and disappointment. Number 2. Do not seek pleasure for its own sake. Pleasure feels good, but it doesn't make you walk farther down the path. This principle advocates for living a balanced life. It encourages us to approach pleasure with a sense of moderation and discernment, recognizing that true happiness comes not from external pleasures, but from within. Number 3. Do not, under any circumstances, depend on a partial feeling. This principle encourages us to cultivate a sense of detachment from our emotions and feelings, rather than becoming attached to specific emotions, moods, or impulses. Also, we are encouraged to remain open and receptive to all experiences. By doing so, we cultivate a greater sense of inner balance and stability. Number 4. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. This principle encourages us to cultivate a sense of humility and openness to the world around us. By thinking lightly of ourselves, we free ourselves from the burden of ego and self-importance. By thinking deeply of the world, we cultivate a greater sense of connection and empathy for others. Number 5. Be detached from desire your whole life long. This principle emphasizes the importance of letting go of our attachments to material possessions, power, and other external factors. Also, it encourages us to approach our desires with a sense of detachment and non-attachment, recognizing that they are impermanent and subject to change. By doing so, we cultivate a greater sense of inner peace and contentment, even when our external circumstances may not align with our desires. Number 6. Do not regret what you have done. Regret is a powerful emotion that can trap us in the past and prevent us from moving forward. This principle encourages us to approach our past actions with a sense of acceptance and forgiveness, recognizing that every experience and decision has brought us to where we are today. By doing so, we free ourselves from the burden of regret and allow ourselves to fully embrace the present moment and move forward with greater clarity and purpose. Number 7. Never be jealous. Jealousy is a powerful emotion that can erode our sense of self-worth and connection with others. Instead, this principle suggests that one should focus on their own goals and progress, and learn from the successes of others. It encourages us to approach our relationships and interactions with others with a sense of generosity and non-attachment, recognizing that we all have our unique paths and journeys in life. Number 8. Never let yourself be saddened by a separation. This reminds us that separations are a natural part of life, and that we should not become too attached to any person or situation. Also, it encourages resilience and acceptance of change. Separations and goodbyes can be difficult, but by accepting the impermanence of life, we're able to find greater peace and contentment even in the face of loss or change. Number 9. Resentment and complaint are appropriate, neither for oneself nor others. Resentment and complaints are powerful emotions that can erode our sense of inner peace and contentment. Resentment can lead to a feeling of bitterness, hostility, or anger towards someone or something. Complaining involves expressing dissatisfaction about a particular thing or situation. Both of these behaviors can take up a lot of energy and destructive power of negativity. Number 10. Do not let yourself be guided by the feeling of lust or love. Lust and love are powerful emotions that can often cloud our judgment and lead us astray. This principle emphasizes the importance of maintaining a sense of detachment in our relationships, rather than becoming too caught up in our emotions. By doing so, we're able to avoid becoming overly dependent on others, and instead cultivate a sense of self-reliance and independence. Number 11. In all things, have no preferences. Preferences are a natural part of the human experience, but they can also be a source of suffering. This principle reminds us that our preferences are often shaped by our own biases and limitations, and that we should strive to remain open-minded and flexible in our approach to life. By doing so, we're able to appreciate the diversity of the world, and to find joy in the unexpected and the unknown. Number 12. Be indifferent to where you live. This principle emphasizes the importance of being adaptable and not becoming attached to one's physical surroundings. By detaching ourselves from our physical surroundings, we're able to find greater freedom and flexibility in our lives. By doing so, we can cultivate a greater sense of inner peace and contentment, and focus our energy on the things that truly matter in life. Number 13. Do not pursue the taste of good food. Food is a natural and necessary part of life, but it can also be a source of attachment and suffering. Pursuing the taste of good food can lead to excessive indulgence, so it is best to cultivate mindfulness and moderation in our eating habits, ultimately promoting physical and mental well-being. Number 14. Do not hold on to possessions you no longer need. Possessions you no longer need are distractions or paperweights, and can also be a burden both physically and mentally. The more that you own, the more that you have to manage. You only want to manage what is useful for you. Instead, one should focus on necessities and maintain a minimalistic approach to possessions. Number 15. Do not act following customary beliefs. Social norms and customs can often dictate how we live our lives and approach our experiences. They can also be a source of constraint and limitation. This principle encourages independent thinking, frees us from the burden of societal expectations, and allows us to fully embrace the present moment. But it does not encourage us to neglect the importance of community or to abandon our values and beliefs, rather emphasizes that we have the power to make our own choices and innovatively live our lives. Number 16. Hold no grudges against yourself or others. This principle encourages us to forgive and the letting go of negative emotions. Holding grudges can cause stress, bitterness, and conflict, both with oneself and with others, leading to a source of great suffering and turmoil. Instead, we should try to free ourselves from the burden of negative emotions and move forward recognizing that everyone makes mistakes and has flaws. Number 17. Do not fear death. This principle encourages us to face our mortality with a sense of acceptance and courage, recognizing that death is an inevitable part of the human experience. Fearing death prevents loving life. It can limit personal growth and create stress and anxiety. Instead, one should focus on living a fulfilling life and accept death as a natural part of the cycle of existence. Number 18. Do not seek to possess goods or fiefs in your old age. This principle encourages avoiding excessive attachment to material, possessions, and wealth. Instead, one should focus on living in the present moment and cultivating a sense of contentment. Number 19. Respect Buddha and the gods without counting on their help. This principle encourages a balance between spirituality and self-reliance. Relying solely on the help of a higher power can lead to a lack of personal responsibility and effort, while neglecting spirituality can lead to a lack of purpose and meaning in life. Instead, one should balance own life between spirituality and self-reliance, while cultivating a sense of inner peace. Number 20. You may abandon your own body, but you must preserve your honor. This principle emphasizes the importance of personal integrity and ethics. Death is an inevitable part of our life, but one's honor and reputation can endure beyond death. Number 21. Never stray from the way. This principle encourages us to stay true to our values and principles, and to avoid getting sidetracked by distractions or temptations that may lead us away from our goals. Staying true to our path is not always easy. But, by committing to staying true to our values and principles, we can stay focused on our path and achieve the success and fulfillment we seek. The path of the Dokkodo is not an easy one, and it requires a great deal of self-discipline and introspection. However, by cultivating a greater sense of inner peace and contentment, we can approach our relationships and experiences in a healthy and balanced way, and find true fulfillment in the present moment.